Hi everyone, I am Nu-Trix the Synth Guy and welcome to another video of my YouTube channel. Today we're talking about how to choose an iPad for making music. Of course, the easiest answer is get the newest and fastest and biggest possible. But when we talk about which one is the best, is often linked to how much you want to pay, and some of the people who look for buying an iPad are looking on used market. So the question would be, which one should I get to get the maximum of playing music and the maximum of my money, get the most out of my cash basically. So I made this video to answer Mad to Moons. He has a budget of 280 British pounds and he's looking on eBay to either get an iPad Air 2 with 128 gigabytes or maybe the new iPad 9 2018. I'm going to say 999 inch, the big one. Actually there's a bigger one, but it's still a big one. Or the iPad Pro 9 inch, but then 32 gigs. So his question is basically, what model is the Air powerful enough, the Air 2 powerful enough, or is the 32 gigs of the Pro not enough to actually use? So the best answer is get the 12-inch 128 gigs. But of course, that's not the question. So I'll go through it just to answer people and get at least pointers into the right direction. The first logic is to say, again, buy the newest and fastest and biggest you can buy. But in this case, let's go back to what he's asking. Now, the first understanding we have is that which OS actually runs on that device. Looking on older devices or older iPads, we need to be sure that it runs the software that we want to run. Most of the new music apps coming today runs from the iOS 10 and up. That's usually what you see. Not all of them works like that, but kind of a general topic that you see. Most of them are running iOS 10 and up. It means that the latest device you can find is an iPad running A6 CPUs. Now, A6 is a type of CPU that runs on the different iPads and iPhones, and that was in 2012 mostly, if I'm not mistaken. And it means that these run iOS 10.3 and that's it. It doesn't upgrade later than that. So if you buy these older devices, they will run today's app, but tomorrow's app won't. Meaning, when some of these apps will support only iOS 12 and up, then you'll be stuck with your old stuff, which is not the end of the world, but that's the question. So if you want to be able to run today's OS, Apple supports everything that runs in a 64-bit CPU. So it starts from the A7 up to now. And from the A7 to today, all the iPads and iPhone runs can run the most recent iOS. So you start with the Apple Air, which is one of the first generation of 64-bit iPads. Now, it means that this will run today's OS, but then your question you ask is, will it be powerful enough? The real answer is, I don't know, because it depends on what you're doing on your iPad. Is it? And that question will be really important, because is it an iPad where you run like one synth at a time and you play a keyboard live and you use it as a single instrument? If that's the case, even older ones will be able to do it. The next question, if you use it to run multi-tracking, DAWs, many effects in real time, like I use Audio Pro often, and Audio Pro is a multi-track recorder, playback device with effects on each track. And yes, at one point I need to freeze tracks because it will tell me not enough power to run it. Even Gadget on my iPad Pro 12, but the old one, the one from 2015, sometimes it says not enough power. So I need to freeze tracks, which is not the end of the world. You freeze the tracks you find are okay, and then you can unfreeze them when you need to. Same thing with Gadget, you can freeze the tracks. So most of the DAWs today give you that option of freezing the tracks. But then there's another question. When you freeze a track, you're basically using space on the hard drive or the disk. You're saving an audio recording of that track and you're playing that back instead of playing CPU real-time calculation. So then you need the space, and it comes to your next question. 32 gigs, is it enough? It depends. It depends. Are you using that iPad to do something else? I use mine for music, for games, for making videos, for editing. So yes, I got 128 gigs on that, and I'm usually using 64 to 84 being used. But when I find there's not enough space, I delete games, I delete some videos that I did in the past that I needed more, that I backed up somewhere else, and I get down to 64 or even 40. And then I've got plenty of space to do other things. So it's really a question of how much you want to use that iPad for something else. Again, the question of space is a question of how you use it, but there's also option of saving somewhere else. So the next or the last point you need to think about is, do you want to save, if you don't have enough space in it, where can you save stuff? Well, there's always the online stuff. Like if you have iCloud space or Google Drive space or Dropbox, which is a lot used in the iPad for different reasons in the past. So you can actually link these services to the file management system of the iOS, and you can save stuff between these places. So it's an option. Now, speed is not the perfect thing because it's not built in, and you don't have direct access to it from different software sometimes. It's an import-export, so it takes more time and space. You need to double the space in a way. And it's the internet, so you don't always have access to it. Now, the next step is to actually extend the memory of your iPad, having a dedicated hard drive and the wireless solution. There are hard drives that has a wireless router in them, and or they can just connect using wireless, and then you can save from your iPad to that. I have one that I use on vacation, and it works okay, but I mean, it's wireless and it's not as fast as running inside the machine, and it still have another step of taking it and copying to another disk. I would prefer to have more space than have a faster iPad, because most of the time you can actually freeze tracks and gadget and all of the DAWs. So I think it's the better choice in this case. But again, that's my choice. You pick your own. I hope this is a little bit clearer on how to look into these and decide which one, or you actually wait a little bit and you pay for iPad Pro 64 gigs. 64 gigs would be kind of the, it's actually pretty functional. 32 is functional, but you need to dedicate that device almost only to music. In my way of working. That's it. Hope this helps. If you like what I'm doing, thumb up, share it, subscribe, and add the little bell to have the notification. And see you soon. Cheers.